Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or whatever it is, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Um, so, just by quick way of introduction, my name's David, and I've been doing these videos for quite a long time. I started out in May last year. And the whole idea was because we were on lockdown that I just wanted to do something to consistent for people to tap into or to listen to or to watch it, because a lot of people were in a lot of fear back then, and it's evolved. I've always been reading from the little 24-hour day book, and because it's got a great message, and my passion is in working with people in addiction. I don't do it professionally, but been sober a long time myself, and so I just carry a message, right? And then every day I like to share a little bit of my experience, strength, and hope with you, and then I do the reading, and then a short, very short meditation. So to hang in there, love it if you stick with me, um, and and uh, and maybe find us on YouTube and subscribe. It's been growing. It's fun. Anyway, I'm enjoying it, and we when we get in recovery, and we there's a on I think page 63 in the big book, where we have the third step prayer. The paragraph before the third step prayer, it says we have a new employer. In that paragraph, it says we have a new employer. Being all powerful, he provides all our needs if we stay close to him and perform his work well. And you know, wow, that's what a great concept for God. We have a new employer, and He'll look after all of our needs. And is if we believe that, and history has proven that that is true. For many millions of people in recovery, if we believe that, then you know how do we stay close to Him and perform His work well? And so staying close is, as I understand it, is often through prayer and meditation. It says that we sought through prayer and meditation later on in the steps to improve our conscious contact with our new employer, you know, and so that we can get, can feel into the moment and receive direction, and have a God consciousness. And what else, would we want other than a God consciousness, to be happy, joyous, and free as a result of that? And performing his work well, what would that be? You know, um, that would be, I believe, carrying, our primary purpose, which is to carry the message to the alcoholic, and for some folks, the addict, that still suffers, right? And so that's the deal. If you're in recovery, and you've taken a good run at the steps, and maybe, and this happens a lot, people seriously get in, and they dig in, and they do the first nine or the first eight and a half, kind of, and then they drop off a bit on 10, 11, and 12, and understand that without the 12th step, uh, we haven't done the steps, and people will actually sometimes leave the 12 step program and say it didn't work for them. They didn't do 10, 11, and 12. They weren't doing daily inventory, and they weren't doing their prayer and meditation, and they weren't helping others. And they were waiting for the miracle, which, a lot of the beautiful promises are come to us in step nine, and but without carrying the message. So yeah, the our job, our purpose, really, if we miss that, we are, we miss the deal. And lately I've been posting, a lot of these videos that I've been doing on groups and stuff, and I'm getting to talk to, a lot of people who have long-term sobriety, and you know, and what a great thing to find people that are 30 and 40 and 50 years sober, and they're active. They're active because that's how they got to be 30 and 40 and 50 years sober. You know, they it, that's how they got to be that way. So wherever we find our place, wherever God kind of directs us to carry out our service position, we don't need to really look. I remember, uh, for me, I actually did this in early recovery. Um, it took me kind of a long time to get that this was my primary purpose. This is where, I was literally pulled out of the pit of hopelessness and despair and confusion and as a I was in my 20s, but I had no idea about life or how to live life, and I was so full of fear, and it was so dark, and and a number of men mostly reached in and helped me out of there, and with no thought for themselves or any return. That it was totally because they were doing this job, and yet I spent a number of years running around trying to figure out what was my purpose. What was I supposed to do on the planet? And because I don't know, it took me a long time to get well, a long time, you know, and that happens with a lot of us. I didn't drink or use or go back out, but I think that the process, I really had to come back at it many times with vigilance to finally awaken to this job. So that's my piece for you today. That we don't have to look for our purpose. If we're in recovery, the purpose is really clear. You know, and if you haven't figured it out, find somebody and read the book with them. Like literally, find somebody and read the book with them. And when you do that, if you read it with somebody else out loud, you see it. It's right there, and the details in that book are the details that we need that have saved many, many, many lives. Bill, in the first 100, created a masterpiece. When you think of it, from nothing, virtually, they put these steps together, and millions of people and families and have found recovery. But the ingredient with this, I mean, yes, you can just sit down and read the book by yourself and possibly get the message, but the ingredient that's really important is the human ingredient, the love that comes from sharing this with others, because love is what lifts us up. So that's my little chat for today about purpose. If you're ever wondering, hey, what's my purpose? Where am I supposed to be? If you're in recovery, I'll tell you where you need to be. It's really clear. And okay, we're going to read from this little um, 24-hour day book. What day is it? It's 28th? Who knows? 29th. My gosh. The of March. Time is a flying. 29th of March. Here we go. So this is from the little 24-hour day book, and I've been kind of reading this, like I say, since almost for I think 11 months now. And there's some of it I go, oh wow, that's kind of strange, because it was written in 1954, but there's a message there for all of us. There's always a pearl in every one of these if I look for it. March 29th, thought for the day. Before I met the 12 steps, AA, NA, CA, right? GASA, all of the A's. Remember, all of this came out of one idea. This beautiful, Bill thought, wow, maybe another alcoholic could use what he got, because he sobered up in a hospital, hospital for treatment for alcoholism, and he had his spiritual experience there, and that thought came in that maybe there would be other people that could use what he had gotten, and it's a beautiful story. I'd love to share it with you. Before, he said, I met the 12 steps or AA, I was very dishonest, he says. I was very dishonest. I lied to my wife constantly about where I had been and what I'd been doing. I took time off from the office and pretended I'd been sick or gave some other dishonest excuse. I was dishonest with myself as well as with other people. I would never face myself as I really was or admit when I was wrong. I pretended to myself that I was as good as the next fella, although I suspected I wasn't. Am I now really honest? And what do we do about that? We can't overcome God. I can go forth